Hi, I'm Valerie Grubb with Travel with Aging Parents. I received 2 questions actually this week from readers asking about traveling with their parents who suffer from incontinence. So let me give you a couple suggestions for this. First, talk with your doctor, or to actually talk with your parents' doctor. There are medicines that can help, so that may be certainly a first start, particularly if your parent really has major leakage. I would certainly strongly suggest that be where you start. I would also recommend, as you're prepping in the morning before you leave, to have your parent take their last sip about an hour and a half before you walk out the door. This way, then you kind of go before you go. So have your parent go to the restroom right before you walk out the door. And then if you're driving to your destination, plan on frequent stops. I know that's like the antithesis of anybody driving, but don't make your parent ask to have to go to the bathroom or keep asking or keep telling you that they need to go. Instead, certainly what I would suggest is to plan on stopping every 2 hours regardless, and just build it into your schedule. And speaking of that, I would map out your route so you can find rest stops or towns that maybe have a Starbucks or something, or a diner or something else that you can stop in and allow your parent to go to the restroom. There's also a great app, so both for Android and iPhones. It's called Sit or Squat. Let me say that again. It's called Sit or Squat, and they can help you find restrooms anywhere in the world. So take a peek at that app before you go. Now, if you're flying to your destination, once again, always have your parent go right before you walk out the door to go to the airport. Also have your parent go right before, and I mean right before you get on that plane. I would also suggest when you're booking seats there's 2 options. You know, typically seats are in the front of restrooms are in the front of the plane or in the back of the plane. And I always suggest to try to sit as close to those restrooms as possible. Typically those ones in the middle, they always have seats or restrooms for first class, for those first class seats. And then in many instances, depending on the type of plane that you're flying, they will have a restroom in the middle, and then they have the restroom at the back. If you have a restroom in the middle, that is typically not utilized as much as the one in the back. So if possible, you can talk with your airline to find out the configuration of the plane. Try to get as close to that one in the middle as you can. And I've also when I get on the plane, I've talked with the flight attendants and said that my mom has an issue and may have to go very quickly. It kind of comes up on her very quickly. And I've sort of pre-approved that mom can go up into first class that just doesn't see as much usage. So that may be an option as well. Now, if you can't, another option is to get as close to that restroom in the back of the plane as you can. Even if you're right up next to it to help your parent, that may be a great thing. Now, it's obviously a lot farther walking, but definitely you're better off if your parent is being really close to a restroom. I also talk with the flight attendant then, just in case I need any help. If there's some big, huge line that's formed, I'll ask the flight attendant's help to make sure that my parent can kind of jump ahead, if you will. Lastly, when it comes to seats, I would always recommend giving your parent the aisle so that they don't have to climb over anybody. Anytime they have to go, they can just get up and go, and you don't really have to really get involved versus them like having to climb over stuff, climb over people or things based on what everybody brings on planes anymore. And then also there's some equipment that I think that you should also look at if your parent suffers from incontinence. There is a female urination device, maybe something you want to take a peek at. There's also a Travel John disposable urinals. Maybe both of those would be very good. Incontinence pads, that may be a great option to bring whether you're flying or driving. Would highly recommend that. I'd also always suggest to bring tissues, bring sanitary napkin or sanitary wipes, and paper towels. So just in case if anything happens, you've got some way to kind of clean your hands up and clean things up. And also I would recommend your parent bring a change of clothes. Hey, things happen. Things happen to my 3.5-year-old nieces, so things happen. So bring a change of clothes, be very discreet, And I think to Mary and to Sue, who asked this question, I think that it's very, very doable to take your parent with you, even if they suffer from incontinence. I think it's just something that you're going to have to really plan ahead and kind of map out how you're going to make this pleasant for everybody involved. So definitely best of luck, and let me know how it goes. Thanks for the questions.